Well, first, I want to thank Vincent for having me follow Mr. Ferguson. I hope I don't remove the great taste from your mouth from my talk that you got from that over there. All right? Okay. Now, I need a favor. I want to give you some numbers, and I want you to remember those numbers, and then we'll move forward from there. Ready? Mm-hmm. First number, 67. 67. Second number, 1994. 1994. Third number, 2012. 2012. All right. The first number, it's bad news. It's bad news. Can I get a show of hands? Who has a business here in Chattanooga or elsewhere? Who has a business? All right. Put your hands down. Here's the unfortunate news. Whenever a small to medium-sized business experiences what I like to call an adverse event, did you know that 2 years later, 67% of those businesses no longer exist? Wow. Now, there's a reason for that. I'm glad you asked. It's almost as if it was on cue, because they failed to plan. They failed to plan. Now, I need another favor. I need you to close your eyes for a few moments. Don't worry, it's a safe environment. Vincent's on the job over there somewhere, okay? Close your eyes for a moment, and I want you to imagine that you have joined me in H.G. Wells' time machine. We're setting the dial to 1994, and we're going back in time. You find yourself, once we reach our destination, at a singles event in a rather large house, and there's about 30 to 40 singles in there. Go ahead and open your eyes. I haven't arrived yet. A friend of mine has called me multiple times. I said, no, I am not going. I'm not going, because I know what happens at these single events. You meet singles. Now, unfortunately for me, or fortunate, depending on how you view the end of the story, I had been burned recently by two different ladies that I fell in love with. They, as I like to say, threw the captain of the ship overboard. So I was hurting. And I told my friend Brad, who invited me to come to this thing, I said, no more women, no more movies, no more dinners. I'm not buying anybody else's brakes for their car. No, I'm not doing it. But then we walked in. I no sooner had broken the threshold of the door, got a few steps into the room, I was surveying the audience, and I looked over to the right. And there she was. The most beautiful redhead I had ever seen in my life. I was hypnotized. My body and brain on one half was saying yes. About 10% was saying no. And my friend finally said something that sort of snapped me out of my trance. And he says, oh, that's Lydia. You need to go talk to her. And I said, no. Now, I'm like every single man out there. I'm starving to death. I came for the food. All right? So I made my way to the kitchen. Some of you can relate to this. Free food. I mean, there's everything. So I'm at the kitchen sink. Off to the side is the bread and the sandwich stuff and some chicken and other things. So I'm making myself a nice sandwich. Put a little mustard on there. Poured myself a drink. Got it all ready. Turned around, and guess who was standing right in front of me? I didn't see any of the Super Bowl ball game between the San Francisco 49ers and whoever they played that year. We stood there and talked for over 3 hours. Now, you can tell that my no more did not work out. Because here we are, 28 years later. Grandchildren, being able to travel to Germany and meet with my youngest daughter, who has 2 of my grandchildren, and the other daughter just down the street in Ringgold with my other 2 grandchildren. So life is good. As he said a minute ago, no doesn't always mean no. Doesn't always mean no. Now, how did I come to understand how to decide, how to make the crucial decision to ask Lydia to marry me? I want to share with you a framework to where you can make decisions. Again, my business owners, here's the good news. It's not only for business owners, but it's for your personal life as well. Wouldn't you like to be making better decisions? Has anybody ever, other than me, made a bad decision? Yes. Okay, so I followed the process. And since that time, which I learned in the military and other affiliations, how to make better decisions. That's what I want to share with you today. $20 million ransomware attack where we did not pay the money. And we didn't lose our capability either because of that decision-making process. Now, because of time constraints, I can't give you every detail about that today, but I do want to give you something to take away. So what I'd like for you to do is raise one of your hands. And I'm from the military. We like acronyms. I'm going to give you an acronym. It's handy, and it's easy to remember because we have our hand up, right? All right, what does H stand for? Have a plan. Have a plan. Have a plan. Doesn't have to be fancy. And by the way, if you have a plan, make sure everybody that's associated with you knows what it is and that they can do it. Okay? A, adapt. And overcome. And overcome. Now, if you don't want to hold your hand up, that's fine. I'll hold mine up. All right? I know you get tired, and there's more speakers to come. They may have you doing backflips. I don't know. All right. So adapt and overcome. D, be determined. Be determined. You got to be ferocious. You got to have ferocity when you're faced with an adverse event. You also have to display leadership. What does leadership look like? Now look, I tell my coaching clients, you may be a raging inferno, a tornado on the inside, but you need to have a calm demeanor on the outside. Okay? All right? Don't lose it. Don't wig out. All right? And if you have somebody in the family that you know or in your business, even though you might be the head of the family, you know you're going to wig out, appoint somebody else to be the leader. Okay? Same thing in the business. H, have a plan, adapt and overcome, display leadership and calmness. Oh, N. Yeah. I forgot my alphabet there for a second. Respond with emotion. We respond to facts as they come in. Okay? See how it all ties together? We respond to the facts at hand.